Hey, Anxious Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. Today we're going to do some blacksmithing. So I'm in our high school shop. I've got our forge fired up, and we're going to do one of the projects that I'm going to teach some of my students that are coming in for a summer class next week. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a hanging flower basket hanger. We're going to use some 3/8 inch bar stock and some 1 inch by, looks like 3/16 strap steel. So I've got my 3/8 bar stock already in the forge. We're going to go ahead and start working on this, and I'll show you and talk to you about it as we go along. Now it's going to take a little bit for that 3/8 bar stock to warm up for the first time. So what we'll work on is we'll also stick in our 1 inch by 3/16 strap steel. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can use one of my other sets of tongs. Yeah, that should hold it just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and add these in here. So we're going to be heating up all of our parts at once. And then I'll show you one of the jigs that we'll be using to put a U-shaped bend in this part. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just start drawing this out into a point, because we're going to put a curl on the end of our bar stock. So I'm kind of rotating it there. Got that bar held at an angle, getting that material to move away from me. Now you'll notice I'm using a lighter hammer here. I don't really want to wear out, but what we might do on the next heat is switch that up with a different hammer. See if we can get that steel to move a little bit quicker. So we're almost getting to cherry, so we're about done with our working for this heat. We'll put it back in and grab the next piece. So what we're going to use next is we're going to go ahead and use our blacksmithing cross peen here. This is a heavier hammer. It'll allow me to be able to move that steel a little bit quicker. So we'll have that ready to go for the next heat. Some of these other Nordic rounding hammers, they do all right for fine work, but getting a large 3/8 chunk of bar stock to move is a little bit more difficult. All right, we got our next heat, so let's go ahead and get this to move. Making sure we rotate is very key to this. Got a slight angle on my bar stock. Drawing this out into a point. All right, let's get this moving again. All right, while that bar stock's getting a good soak, that round stock, we're going to go ahead and use this jig I just made up. This is going to put a U shape or a V shape in our flat stock so that we can hook that on there and make the wall hanging flanges. So what we'll do is we'll put our hot bar stock here. We'll put this punch here, give it a few whacks, and see if we can get it to turn into a U. Okay, so let's get one of those out there and see how she goes. Got it lined up. My punch. Before we lose our heat. Alright, just about there. Perfect. That is about what I was looking for. So we can square that up just a little bit later, but we've got it about in the shape we need, where it's going to tuck over that bar stock so that we can mount, drill some holes in it and mount it to a wall. That's one piece done. We'll go ahead and put her in the quench. Go, got that one bent. And again, we can work with these later to finesse them into the shapes that we want. It's not quite how I'd liked it, but we can work with that. There we go, she's had a good soak. Yeah, get some good shape on it. We're going to draw it out just a little bit more. Want this out into a finer point, and then we're going to give it a backwards curl and then a forwards curl. Another good soak, so let's keep going. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take that tip of that steel and we're going to curl it around like the curl on the top of a soft serve ice cream cone. So to do that, we are going to need to draw it out just a little bit more so we have a nice sharp point. It gives a good artistic flair to it. The very point of that hook that we're building had become a little frayed, so I went ahead and went and ground it off. So it'll look much better now when we draw it to a point. All right, let's keep going. Let's round this off. We're going to pound it down, flip it over, and we're going to pound it back towards us. And it's going to start to form an ice cream style curl. Just like that. Control the rest of the movement by where we hit. There we go. I think that's a pretty attractive curl right there. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put another heat on it. We're going to quench this tip when we come back. We're going to curl it the other way. So we'll be hitting on the top to curl this down, and then we'll be putting our hook on it. Okay, we're going to quench just the tip of that in our quench bucket. Okay, so that won't move. And we can start forming our hook. And then we can use our horn for the rest of it. right, let's go ahead and quench that. Then we're going to start working on the back side here. Get that cool enough to handle from that side. Then we're going to work on the back side. We're going to peen over this side so that it's not sharp. And then we will put an angled bend or an angle in it right about here. And then we'll do our final curve. Okay. We're going to make sure our point is up. Hang this off the edge about there. Make sure it's straight. We'll put our bend into it, which did not end up being quite where I wanted it. Let's get this straightened down. All right, so that is our first part, our bend one. Forgot to peen that over. That would have gone much easier if I'd done it before the bend, but what's done is done. There we go, that should work. We'll go ahead and quench that, and then we'll get into the bending. All right, so this part we're gonna do cold. So I've got one of my jigs here that I use for a bunch of different things. We're gonna put it on here and see if we can get this to bend this in a nice radius. We could do it with heat, but I don't know if I want to fire up the big forge today to do that. I've got a 21-inch forge that would heat this up with plenty of heat to do that. But we'll see if we can do it cold. If we can't do it cold, then we'll fire that one up. Load this in. All right, let's keep this going. Yeah, it's not working the way I wanted. Turn her sideways, see if we can get it to go that way. Not quite the graceful bend that I wanted. Let's see if we can get this straightened out too while we're at it. Yeah, I think we're going to bend this up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, let's get to the last part. We'll weld it up and then I'll show you the finished product. Well, there we go. With a little bit of heating, some hammering, some twisting, some bending, and some cutting, we've gone from a chunk of 3/8 inch. We've gone from a chunk of 3/8 inch bar stock into a finished product. In this case, a hanging basket hanger. So this is one of the projects that we're going to do in the shop this next week. Hopefully we can get some students to participate. Hope you learned something. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.